Welcome back on the AM show. We talk security-related matters now, and on the back of those 3 robbery attacks, so one in the very vicinity of the police headquarters, then another one around Afrikiko, and the other one around the pig farm roundabout. It has raised a lot of eyebrows. But there is that one specifically around the pig farm roundabout, and my colleague Maxwell Agbagba has a report talking about what exactly happened.
So if you come here to the pig farm roundabout, the blood is still splattered on the road here. At this point, we have a man who we suspect to be from the investigation unit of the Ghana Police Service also here taking some details. We are told that the police came to the ground just about 30 minutes after the incident happened. They also tried to follow up on the incident, but they were unable to arrest the perpetrators.
We are here. So I finished eating here and I saw some 2 motorbikes coming from top. So I thought sometimes they have some they are gas pow. So I thought is their gas. So they came and stand here, and the 2 guys were trying to put the bag out of the guy, and the guy resisted and he said no. So immediately the guy jumped from his motor and removed the bag out of his bag and opened the bag for them to see, and they did not understand it, and they shoot the guy and they take the bag away. No. By that time, it seems there was only 2 cars. So they immediately, the time they were coming, no car, but immediately they come and stand here and they were, fighting, want to take the bag. So the 2 cars, they came and parked here and the other motors. So immediately they fired, the guy finished. The guy was lying there while the cars were passing, and the guy was lying there.
What I see, I'm just going to deliver this thing at how do you call it, Labadi. And I just hear a 2-gun warning shot. Po, 2. So after they stop the guy, the other biker, and they do what? They collected his bag and they shoot him 2 bullets. That's what I see. So after I see a police car was coming, and there's a lot of people here. So I saw a car was coming and they followed the biker. So they just gone. They just passed straight. That's what I see.
All of these people were here. The hawkers were also here when the incident happened. We've seen another police officer arriving here on the ground with the investigator. Understand that investigations would start right at this point. Speaking to some of the hawkers here and the people who work at the gas station here, many of them are terrified about the situation. They say they've never seen anything happen around this time in this busy area like this before. Many of them said they were helpless because the robbers actually had guns and they had a sports bike which enabled them to escape from the scene really fast. So as it stands now, investigations will start.
And that is my colleague Maxwell Agbagba reporting there, scenes from the pig farm roundabout, and you could see what exactly transpired as per what eyewitness reports. But let's connect now with Adam Bonaa, who is a security analyst. He joins the conversation as we delve into the security ramifications, not just for people in that community, but for the nation as a whole. Mr. Bonaa, very good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers.
Great. 3 robberies in one day. Mere coincidence?
No. I think the incidence of robbery has been on the increase in recent times. And the sad part of it is that 9 out of 10 of them are by the use of firearms. Call it illicit firearms in the hands of these hoodlums. So this is not mere coincidence. I'm sure you've heard about, I don't know your 3 where you are told you got them from, but I'm sure you heard about I think yesterday or so, one in the Achuma Kwamuma area, highway robbery, where a woman was forced to deliver in the middle of the road whilst the guys, highway robbers were robbing. Yesterday, I think in the Paga area in the north, a mobile money vendor got robbed, and in the process of robbing, a customer who had visited got shot and killed instantly at the scene. And these are, but, the many other violent crimes that are going on in the country. And no one knows when these, crimes are going to stop. So long as there is money in the hands of people, these things are going to continue till probably the authorities find a solution to it.
And you're very right in citing some other incidents, because we've seen, other robbery attacks occur. But the three I mentioned, now there's a report that around Afrikiko, on the same day that we had the pig farm incident and the Osu Honeysuckle incident, we also had one around Afrikiko. That makes up for the three, and that is just within, a certain enclave. But moving the conversation forward, there also seems to be a trend from what we are seeing now of assaults on motorbikes. How much of a concern is that this is the means that a lot of these criminals are using to perpetrate, terror on ordinary Ghanaians?
Well, yes, it allows them easy getaway. It allows them to use, other unmotorable routes. It allows them to run quickly from, their victims and run quickly away from getting arrested. And so as far as I'm concerned, how these motorbikes come into the country, most of it come through the ports. You want to talk about Tema Port, Takoradi Port, and largely coming through some of the unapproved routes. But it starts to reason why the states, we haven't put in enough measures to be able to ensure that all of these bikes are registered, because most of these bikes are stolen bikes. Most of these bikes are bikes that are, have been stolen from other locations, either from neighboring countries, and have been brought here. And so it's not registered to anyone. And so I would have wished that we would have a foothold, and at the moment, the crime incidents we are seeing is not only limited to Accra, but the most pathetic aspect of it, has to do with, like you mentioned, the Afrikiko area. It is safe to say it is a security zone because you have the French embassy close by. You have the seat of government close by. Another robbery that took place very close to the police headquarters. It tells you that the criminals actually have figured out and realized that those who are supposed to be arresting them don't have what it takes to arrest them. They don't know who they are. And so they can come so close to the seat of government to commit such a dastardly act, so close to the headquarters, the Ghana police headquarters, and commit a robbery, and no one saw them. So then the question is that we have all these CCTV cameras that have been mounted lately around the country, in some major intersections. The headquarters area have these CCTV cameras. In other advanced jurisdictions, when these incidents happen, it doesn't take, long. You will see footages of who these criminals could be, giving you an idea whether the person is tall, the person is, slim built, the person is short, dark, fair. It gives somebody definitely, because these people live with us. The only thing is that when the crime fighters are not giving us enough information. And so it is sad, but I think that it's becoming very difficult. I'm supposed to go on a trip somewhere by road, but I'm reconsidering that trip, because you don't know when these bandits would cross, in front of you, and you will never know, because these are amateur criminals who would not mind pulling the trigger as a first line of defense when you resist.
So you're saying that you, as a security analyst, you have plans to travel, and on the back of some of these happenings, you yourself are afraid to make that journey?
Oh, yes, because as you can see, now they've taken the fight to us in close to who would have thought that criminals would be so daring to rob just in front of the police headquarters? Who would have thought that criminals would be so daring to? If you know the Afrikiko area, you can ask. It's a place that I frequently visit for some meetings. It's a place that you can say that government officials from the seat of government come to have their lunch. It's a place that you can say national security officials come to have their lunch. Police officers, police bosses, they all come there. And so for these guys to go on and commit such a crime in an area like that tells you that we are all not safe, because now it has come so close. You can imagine when you are moving away. When you are moving away, it means that if you come under any attack, chances are that help might never come, because if in front of the police headquarters, these guys managed to rob how many hours or how many days ago, and we still don't have a footage of the incident. We still have no idea of who these persons are. I would have wished that, like I'm saying, by now, we have CCTV images. Joy News is showing, other major networks in this country are showing on internet, gone viral, so that we see who these people are. But they know that we have installed some CCTV cameras in town. They are not working. They know that police patrols aren't working. They know that national security, which is supposed to be gathering intelligence on who they are not doing what it's expected of them. And so the citizens of the country, we have been left to our fate. I have to be honest with you.
We've been left to our fate. Let me run this by you. And yesterday we had Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, come through. And one of the suggestions he had, especially in such hotspots or areas where we see a high crime rate, is that we not only have MTTD officers who are static, but that we have police officials, patrol some of these areas to ensure that if there's someone on a motorbike who has perpetrated such a crime, they can be apprehended. Do you think that that is one of the solutions we need at this point in time?
Well, it's one of the solutions. I will not discount it. It's one of the solutions. But you see, crime fighting and what do you call it? Crime in general has to do with perception. When the criminals perceive the police to be fighting crime, usually they go aground. When the citizens perceive the police or the the law enforcement agencies to be fighting crime, they tend to help. But we find ourselves in a space in this country at a time where police visibility is zero. Under the regime of IGP Al-Hassan, Mohammed Al-Hassan, we had what used to be called the Police Visibility Unit. And that unit were put at designated points. One can say that, in fact, data suggests that even though these people didn't do much, the officers didn't do much, it brought down crimes in this country. It increased the citizens believe that crime is getting fought and therefore they needed to help the police to fight crime. But as we speak, you go into town, you see police officers, and what they do usually is to stop unregistered vehicles and try to search them. And I say that is not all about police and stopping unregistered vehicles. We need to see the police. I want to see some reshuffle of the Ghana police. If you remember under IGP appeal to 2018 thereabout, crime incidents went up. That was when the Interior Minister, together with his subordinates, appeared to and the rest, decided to have the Police Intelligence Bureau and COP Yohono, was put in charge of that bureau. Within the matter of 90 days, most of the bad guys had been arrested. Today, as we speak, when was the last time we saw any major reshuffle of the Ghana Police Service? You see, anyone who understands crime and crime dynamics, if you are operating on a flat surface, chances are that you can see the criminals, they can see you. So you need to operate in a format that you usually would throw the criminals out of balance. When I say throw them out of balance, I mean there has to be reshuffle of regional commanders, reshuffle of operational commanders, reshuffle of those who are actually fighting crime. But unfortunately, we haven't had that. For how long? If you ask me since Opon Bueno took over, he's my friend. I haven't seen any major reshuffle. Crime incidents are going on unabated. During the elections, before elections, what's the name? The MP in the Central Region area was shot and killed. We were told recently by the Attorney General, the Honorable Attorney General, instructing the IGP that I need you to give me feedback on that in 2 weeks. It's been 3 months since the Attorney General said that. We haven't had anything. I think that we are probably moving to, a point where if you are not careful, citizens will begin to take the laws into their own hands. They will begin to arm themselves. Usually that is what happens. When people become terrified, they begin to arm themselves. We don't want to live in a country where, apart from criminals in this country, good people begin to arm themselves. Before you realize, road rage, and we begin to shoot one another in traffic. I think that someone would have to call the authorities, especially the national security. I say that instead of just the nomenclature, they're just changing the name from a BNI to, what's the name? NIB doesn't do anything. So for me, I think we should do more in fighting crime and gathering intelligence, in fighting crime.
And that's quite a, scary picture that you paint, because indeed, if many people start, taking up arms, that can only lead to more chaos on our roads and in our society. But specifically in respect of the Ghana Police Service, do you feel that this incident, especially the one around the honeysuckle Osu, and mind you, we had 3 such incidents, like I mentioned earlier, 2 p.m., at around 2 p.m., at around 4 p.m., and around 7 p.m. So you can look at the time frame within which all this was happening on Wednesday. Do you feel specifically with the one that occurred around, the honeysuckle in Osu, or in the honeysuckle in Osu, that it points to certain weaknesses in the Ghana Police Service, some chinks in their armor? Is that what it points to, for which reason the robbers even came that close to the HQ of the CID?
Absolutely. It's an indictment on the Inspector General of Police.
It's an indictment?
Yes, it's an indictment on the Inspector General of Police. I say that because if a crime happens in Paga, which is in the Upper East region, I think, you would say the regional commander would have to be responsible for some of these things, and citizens would have to be responsible. But you see, to the extent that these criminals come so close to the seat of the IGP and commit a crime, and there is nothing. We have not heard about any arrests whatsoever. Nothing. It tells you that either the police service is sleeping, or we don't have the right people running the Ghana Police Service. At the moment, I've got to say it as it is. Either the police service is sleeping, or we don't have the right persons running the Ghana Police Service. And I'm talking
Mr. Bonaa, let me just interject here right before you continue. But we've heard from the Ghana Police Service, the PRO, Efiatenge, has been speaking, and she has actually corroborated the reports, but the police is investigating the matter. Should we not give them time to investigate before we arrive at such conclusions?
You see, my brother, how long are we going to give the police time to investigate when people are getting killed daily? How long? I mean, my point is that how long are we going to give the Ghana Police Service? I haven't seen this. I have to be very honest with you. I'm old enough. I haven't seen this amount of criminal acts going on, and nothing is being done under any IGP. I've lived through so many IGPs. Opon Bueno is my friend. But when it comes to fighting crime, the police service is supposed to be the organization that's supposed to be in charge of that. I haven't seen, you can name them, several other IGPs in the recent past appear to, when crime rates went up, there was a swift action to dealing with crime. I haven't seen it. And we started seeing incidents of this right before this year. And I was expecting that real actions would go into it. So when, yes, I mean, they are my friends. The DSP, if you are 10 years, they are my friends. But you see, if we don't deal with this issue the way a manner it should be dealt with. Yesterday, it was someone's turn. You will never know when it will be your turn or your relation's turn or your friend's turn. And so mine is that the way a manner crime is being fought in this country, there is something going amiss. And there is no wonder probably the president didn't see the need to include the national security minister in his cabinet list. I have said repeatedly that there is that possibility of a turf war where you have a national security, which under it you have the National Investigation Bureau, which is an offshoot of the Ghana Police Service, which used to be called the Special Branch. That unit is supposed to be collecting intelligence. But unfortunately, their mandate, it looks like their mandate, they don't understand it. So they are rather taking it out on innocent and good Ghanaians instead of helping the Ghana police fight crime by getting intelligence. I am expecting the Ghana police itself, as we speak today, to have put their resources together, to have marshaled the best. And I must be honest with you, the Ghana police service we have today is one of the best Ghana police service when it comes to individual human resource who, when they are put at the right positions, they will fight this crime within a month. But unfortunately, those who can do the work have been relegated to the back. And unfortunately, you know what? The criminals are having a field day, attacking us everywhere, including the police headquarters, around the vicinity of the police headquarters, including around the vicinity of Jubilee House. I mean, everywhere. You can name them. Achimakwanwuma, you can go to Paga, you talk about the vote, everywhere. And it has become a daily occurrence. So I would probably tax the authorities to do something about it, or else, I mean, everybody is going to be putting pump action guns, sidearms into their cars. So someone stops you, you are not sure, you pull your gun. Do we want to go that way? I don't think we should. So for me, it is an indictment of the Ghana Police Service. So as for their investigating, I would not buy that. I mean, the MP was killed. We were told, the president even mentioned it and said, the basi. He said, what can come, can come. But unfortunately, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened since that MP unfortunately lost his life during campaign. And as we speak, count how many people have been killed in recent times. So I think that the national security has been a failure. They haven't helped fighting crime. But there again, I think the recent incidents are probably, amount to an indictment on the current IGP of the Ghana Police Service. I want to see him I know he would be out of the scene within the year, but I want to see him as a friend, as a good friend. I want to see him ensure that crime rate goes down remarkably before he leaves the scene. If not, he will go down as the only IGP under his reign who could not fight crime in this country.
It's very interesting, the picture you paint. He's going down if he doesn't remedy matters as the only IGP who couldn't fight crime. But I just want to go back very briefly to something you mentioned. Do you find it a problem then, from what you yourself have said, that President Akufo-Addo has not included Albert Kandapaa, the National Security Minister, in his cabinet? Do you feel that's a problem?
No, I don't see that to be a problem, because I have asked that the national security as a ministry, do we need it? We don't. We don't need the national security as, if you ask me, because they rather pose largely as a danger. If you go into some of these crimes that are happening, if you go deep down into it, some of these people who are committing this crime, I mean, at least the police's own data have suggested that some of these people are people who would have done some work in the past, claiming to be national security operatives, who would have been taken to, Achiase for 2-3 weeks training and then another party came and they were laid off, and these people have been taught how to shoot, and they have to survive. And so I say that the current national security, we need to relook at it. And so if you include, Honorable Albert Kandapa as a cabinet minister, he goes to cabinet. What is he going to report on? Is he going to report on defense when defense minister is there? Defense minister is more than adequate to report on issues that have to do with territorial integrity of this country. When it has to do with internal security, what's the name? Minister of the Interior, the Honorable Ambrose Derry, he's doing his best. He would also report on that. So it would be probably, he will only be adding to the numbers because being repetitive, trying to brief cabinet on what others have been mandated by law to brief the president on. And mind you, the president is the chairman of the National Security Council. And so I think that most of these things would come to the National Security Council meeting, and therefore the National Security Minister, if you ask me, it's not needed at cabinet, unless, the president states otherwise. But I think that, looking at the current work of the current architecture of our security, the National Security Minister shouldn't be part of cabinet. And I think that, yes, the president has vindicated some of us. I have been saying that the national security should have helped in fighting crime, but it's rather become a danger to our society. The recent national security policy document that was launched, some of us pushed and pushed. I've been pushing for this for the last 15 years. We got it launched. But you see, if you go to a baseline survey that was conducted in 2014 regarding illicit firearms, which says we have 2.3 or so illicit firearms in Ghana. That is what Honorable Albert Kandapa and his people actually put into this particular policy document. And so if you are putting such a thing or such statistics in such a policy document, that probably you ended, it's, call it, around 2020, 7 or 6 years information finds its way there, then you know that you are 6 years late in fighting crime. And so if you are going to look for funding to tackle illicit firearms, are we looking for 2.3 million illicit firearms in the hands of Ghanaians today? Or we are looking for 10 million illicit firearms? That is why, for me, I say that document is good, but the truth is that there are a lot of factual inaccuracies in that document, and I would have wished that, especially internal security when it comes to illicit firearms. So to the question again, whether the National Security Minister, there's a problem not put in, I don't see any problem, because in any case, the president is the commander-in-chief and also the chairman of the National Security Council. Whatever he goes there to say, Interior Minister is more than capable, Defense Minister is more than capable. So I don't see any reason why, if the president has up to 19, he should include him. I think that probably would shortchange whatever the president wants to see in cabinet.
A good point you make there on the national security strategy that was recently launched. But based on the very points you're making now, do you feel it is stillborn, dead on arrival? Because in terms of its utility, do you feel it is that relevant?
Well, portions of it, I would say it is better than nothing. But I think that somehow somebody did a lazy work. Because you see, Ghana, our major problem is not terrorism. Our major problem has to do with internal security. We don't have internal terrorists, and we don't have, yes, there is perceived that we need to put in measures. But we have a canker. And I was expecting that the national security policy document, which some of us advocated for, would have addressed this canker. So that I think that you look at it, it's too bulky. Let's have a summary. How many Ghanaians would, unless you are a researcher or a media man or a security person like me, who would want to take line by line and analyze? But apart from that, I think that, that document would have to be looked at. And if you look at the document, It says that it has to be reviewed every 4 years. I don't know what that means. Every 4 years means that 2025, before we get any substantive or substantial, what do you call it, review, it means that that will be about 10, 11 years. Illicit firearms would be late, 10, 11 years. How many people would be dead, through illicit firearms in Ghana? If you talk about piracy, somewhere in the document, it says, or marine security, it says that Ghana is low risk when it comes to marine, security, or Ghana in terms of hijacking. But recent data doesn't support it. For some time now, we've had hijackings on our the Gulf of Guinea. We've had some hijackings there. So I was expecting that these things would be captured. You talk about crisis management or crisis response under the same document. They actually did state that there's going to be a joint security decks and all those things, operations and all that. But you and I know that the Emil Short Commission did say that the operational wing of the national security should be scrapped. They shouldn't have a standby army. That thing is still there. You know how your colleague Caleb Kuda and other people around the Sankregua area were brutalized by this same Azugu and his people, which, came to all of us, our attention recently. It tells you that somehow someone has sneaked in and wants to maintain the operational wing of the national security. Yet, in that same document, it says their core mandates in that same document is to monitor, coordinate, and do this and do this and do this. So how then do you have a standby army? Somehow you sneak that into the policy document. So as far as I am concerned, yes, I would say somehow the first time we haven't had this since independence is good. But there are a lot of flaws in that document, which I think needs to be addressed. If we want to tackle security, most especially internal security, at the moment, they are robbing people all over. So I would say that an advice to commuters and those who drive around, be careful, because you will never know when these bandits would accost you and do what they want to do to you. I would call on, those in charge to ensure that somehow they are able to, unflatten or disflatten the curb. But at the moment, it's just flat. And the guys can see the officers, and so they can rob and get away before the officers come. CCTVs will spend millions of dollars to install. When was the last time? When was the last time you saw the police come to you with CCTV evidence that put it into your TV setup, broadcasted that we want these people, this is how these people arrive, this is their behavior. These days, it is rather people who would, dangerously film it on their phones. Meanwhile, we have the CCTVs. These people would ride from one location to the other, go through cameras before they get to wherever they are going to commit this act. And these CCTVs are there. If they are not working, they should tell us. But I know that most of the cameras are working. But unfortunately, this is one of the area, I work on a lot. And so mine is that crime fighting, these days, you have to use systems like CCTV in fighting crime. And then in the same document, they spoke about funding, and they are now going to consult for funding. A policy document like this should have funding source. And I have suggested in some of my publications and advocacy for this thing to come into existence that crime actually pays. Crime pays on crime sales. If you go to the United Kingdom, 2018 or 19, the police in the United Kingdom, through fines, over speeding tickets, those littering, and those who have been taken to court for road traffic infractions, actually contributed or were fined up to the tune of about £1.2 billion. So as we speak, we have a cash cow that we have not used well. If we want to fight crime, those who are committing crimes and breaking, stopping and overspeeding and doing all those things should pay for this country to be safe. Other countries have done that. We haven't done that. You see a rickety vehicle broken in the middle of the road. Where is the police to go issue ticket and say, When I lived in the United Kingdom, I mean, yes, those you do overspeeding, the next morning you get a ticket come through your door. You have to pay. You don't park well, you get, your car breaks down at the wrong place, you don't have your MOT, and so we can do it. But unfortunately, we have a situation where we have an ill-resourced police. People are committing crime left and right. We have a national security policy document. We are now going to look for money. When those breaking the law can actually finance that document in tenfold, we are not doing that. It is only because, you see, they put it together without proper consultation. But I can tell you that the Ghana police, together with other security agencies, will not need to go to the consolidated fund or take money from the taxman, but would finance their activities through those who are breaking the law in this country. But as we speak, a police officer stops you and he tells you to pay 10 cedis or 20 cedis, you are gone. Because he will tell you that I'll take you to court. There's nothing like a sport fine. Why do I want to go to court? So me, at my level, if a police officer, I don't do that. But if probably I was to break the law and a police officer accosted me and I know that you take me to court, they'll tell me to pay 600 or 1,000 Ghana cedis. I'll give the police officer 100 cedis and go away. But if I know that the sport fine is 100 cedis, just imagine 1,000 people paying 100 cedis, legitimate and getting receipts a day for parking wrongly. People would pay that minimum amount, but when you put it together by the end of the year, all police officers will be paid, immigration, all their vehicles, all of fire service, all of them will be told from Ghanaians breaking the law. But unfortunately, we are all watching. So that is the story. And for me, I think that is quite worrying.
And you made mention of the fact that as far as you see it, the National Security Strategy document, just briefly on that, is flawed in many ways. I just wanted to pick your brains on this. Looking at, and as a proponent for that document, looking at what you had in mind and what has materialized, the product, do you feel disappointed? Very briefly on that. Are you disappointed or not?
I must be honest, I am not disappointed. The only thing is that I think they could have done better. I'm not disappointed because I would say for the first time, yeah, this is a document, but where I feel so disappointed and let down has to do with that aspect of illicit firearms. Because all these incidents you mentioned, the 3 incidents you mentioned, all of them had to do with firearms. And so how did someone miss it? But as for getting disappointed, no, I am not. I would say that those go back into the room, look at it, and let's have a better document, a better survey conducted, and let's find ways and means in fighting internal security challenges in Ghana. My
final bit to you, and I'd appreciate it if you'd be very brief on that. The Ghana Police Service says in recent times it has hit certain dens of thieves. It has been rounding up certain people. It is using the CCTV footage, among others, to help resolve some of the latest crimes. What more do you feel the Ghana Police Service should be doing to ensure that we are safe out there?
Police visibility, I mentioned it, police visibility. The perception of fighting crime among criminals and the perception of fighting crime among citizens, good people. These 2 ingredients are important in fighting crime. Perception of fighting crime amongst them, amongst us, the good ones, and perception of fighting crime amongst the bad ones. Once these things goes down well, because you see police officers at intersections, you see them in their, reflective vest, you see them moving around and doing proper crime fighting, those fighting crime would go underground or they'll arrest them. And also with regards to the CCTVs, you see, if you only take CCTV footage to court and prosecute somebody, and the citizens don't know that these things work, you see, the psyche of those of us who go through red light is that, oh, camera will create. But when it comes on that, oh, Adam Bonaa went through traffic light, and the police, after 2 days, the police came to his house, issued him a ticket and took him to court. Next time, those who know me, I will tell them that, Massa, this thing, the cameras work. But as we speak, it is not there. So I think that what the police is saying, they should come better. We want to see a lot more evidence in the media, on social media, that the CCTV system we spent money installing for them is being used to fight crime. If not, it looks like we are definitely losing the fight against fighting, these criminals on our streets.
Mr. Bonaa, thank you for the many insights shared this morning. It's been very informative, and we are immensely grateful for your time. Adam Bonaa is a security analyst, and he joined us on that conversation in respect of, well, the spate of crime and the level of insecurity that we have seen in recent times. But coming up after the break, we talk about decriminalizing suicide. A lot of people, some people, especially in the legal fraternity, have called for the decriminalization of suicide. We host our guest, Christian Malm Hesse, a lawyer, after the break.